Hey guys, welcome back to Release the Craftin for the last day of 2025. If you are joining me in the future, how is it? Is it lovely? I hope so. But if you are joining me on the last day of 2025, I thought I would just jump on here and do like a things that I liked about the past year video, and then share with you guys some of my like thoughts and feelings and plans and changes for the future, and we would just go from there. And I'm gonna do that hopefully while I work on this. Who knows, I tend to talk with my hands, so I might not do anything in this book while I am talking to you guys, but I'm going to attempt to without confusing myself, which good luck, Priscilla. I don't even know why you thought this was a great idea, but I just thought it would be really nice to like wrap up the year and start the new one. I have, for no reason that I can like explain, for no reason, absolutely no reason, I am optimistic about the next year, and I'm gonna hold on to that optimism for as long as I freaking can, because it's rough out here, you guys. And after like the year that I have had personally, and the year that we have collectively had in 2025, squeezing every last drop out of this optimism. I swear I'm not letting it go. In fact, I've been aggressively telling my friends to be hopeful for the next year. So like I'm carrying that through. You be hopeful too, damn it, because that's what we have to hold on to. So yeah, I just thought it would be fun to like sit here and chat with you guys while I make things. Hopefully, we'll see the best laid plans and all that. But, like, there's so much going on. I'm so excited for new stuff. I'm actually already super hyped for next year. I've got some really great plans, and so, like, stay tuned, because it's gonna be poppin'. I'm just, like, I can't even describe to you guys how much excitement there is already, and I haven't done anything. I've done some things. I've planned some stuff. But I just, like, I have so many things that are coming up that I'm, like, really looking forward to. I got embossing powder all over this. That's what that dust is. I was trying to figure it out while we were talking. Well, while I was talking. Ignore that I just spilled embossing powder all over this board, apparently. Anyway, there's so much stuff that I have planned for the next year. Like, not stuff. There's things coming up that I'm not spoiling just yet. But, there's stuff and things and stuff happening, and I'm just really looking forward to it. And I'm so excited for these things that I think that's what's like lending this sense of optimism. And it might be misplaced, it might be misguided at the end of the day, but like I don't care because I feel like we could all use a little bit of sunshiny optimism to carry into the next year. I know that like we always start out a new year being like new year, new me, and I don't buy into that, because I'm the same me. Like I didn't change because I decided to be positive about things. Let's turn these into pockets, huh? But like I'm still the same self, even if I choose to improve. I'm still myself at the end of the day, so like I don't really understand that mentality, because I don't want to be anybody else either. Like I just want to be me. But in a new year, what is this? 8.5. So, so like, what was I saying? So, I don't really set like New Year's goals. Like I set goals more than I set resolutions. I don't really believe in the concept of resolutions, and I think I've talked about that before, because I just don't like the idea of holding myself to like a standard and then not hitting that goal, and then being like, or the resolution in particular, and then being disappointed in myself for not hitting this arbitrary goal and this arbitrary timeline. And also I feel like resolutions can be very, very vague, so unless you make a very simple, straightforward like resolution, it just gets very tricky. And I feel like goals are something that like it's okay if you don't hit a goal as long as you're trying. There's all that to it. So I think that's where my brain is when it comes to this kind of stuff. That's 1/4 of an inch. So yeah, I don't have like goals necessarily, but I do have like a plan. I don't have resolutions. I have a goal. The goal is to grow, and whatever form of growth that means is neither here nor there. Like, if I grow my channel, if I grow my community, if I grow as an artist, like, that's the kind of growth I'm looking for. I like to set sort of a broad, general sort of concept like that because it's harder to fail. So I don't get disappointed with myself if I don't achieve something, because in some way next year I am going to grow. Like, that's a thing. It is going to happen. I will see growth in one way, shape, or form. So I can't, like, end up in, like, a defeatist cycle if I am surviving the year. Because I haven't disappointed myself with the goal that I've set for myself. And I'm not, like, saying that it's bad to set goals or anything like that. I'm not anti-goal in general. I just don't like putting all that pressure on the beginning of the year and having to feel like I have to maintain that course throughout the entire year, especially, I think, because as a person who has a chronic illness, I get sick. And I get really sick when I get sick. When I go down hard, as you guys have seen, and I'll talk about that a little bit. But, like, when I go down, it can really, like, unseat me and knock all my plans off course and things like that. And it's discouraging already to have an illness that takes so much of, like, your quality of life away, and then to have, like, the pressure of not being able to achieve a goal on top of that is another thing. But also I have, like, a weird thing where I feel like, because I know that in the back of my mind I will go down eventually at some point in the year, I put a lot of pressure on myself to get as much stuff as possible done, and I jam it all in at once, and then I burn out, and then I get sick, which then throws off all the best laid plans and things like that. So to try to avoid that, I have to, like, work really hard to come up with, like, sustainable systems in order to prevent myself from hitting that burnout, so that I can continue to sort of, like, sustainably create on a consistent course, especially because, I have a YouTube, and I don't want my YouTube to die because I got sick, which is what happened last year. Which really was murder. It murdered my YouTube, and I've been working to get it back up there, but it's stop and start and stop and start. And it's going to be like that for a little bit until things, like, level back out again. So, like, my focus can't be on trying to reclaim what was or anything like that. It's just sort of getting back into it, finding a creative practice that is sustainable, that, if I mess up or I don't hold on to as tightly as I normally do, it's okay. It won't be, like, a hindrance. It won't damage anything in the long run. And that means, like, looking at, like, different types of content and how I'm doing the current content I provide, and all sorts of things like that. So that's just a basic sort of summary, I guess, of, like, my headspace and where I'm at now as I move into the new year, and why I'm keeping my goals so broad and trying not to put too much pressure on myself. Because honestly, I really don't know. I don't know what the next year is going to hold. I have a little bit of that gun shyness that comes from getting, like, critical illness and having to sort of baby step my way back into being comfortable with, like, putting myself out there again in some meaningful capacity, because I don't know what'll happen. And I have, a little bit of concern, like, if I try too much, will I get sick again? Will I go down again? I don't know. There's still some things with my health that needs to get taken care of. There's some other things I want to approach with my health next year that, like, if I can get those squared away, then, like, some of the gun shyness will go away, and I won't be so concerned about, like, oh, well, if I push myself, I'm gonna crash and burn, because I don't have to worry about that if I take care of those things. So, like, that's sort of my personal goals, I guess, is to sort of focus on a couple of different aspects of my health, so that I don't have to worry about what happens if I hit a wall energetically, and it won't be so detrimental to my long-term health. Like, if I can get that managed, it'll be fine. So that's sort of, like, the personal goals I'm moving into. But I guess all this to say is, this is where my head is, so that you guys kind of understand where I'm coming from. And I hope that I've created a safe enough place here. I feel like, because I'm very open about, like, my mental illnesses and my, like, chronic illness and things like that here, that you guys feel comfortable enough to sort of share those things with me. Because some of you guys do. You reach out and you talk to me about it and tell me that, like, you appreciate that I talk about it and I don't make it, like, a secret thing. So I don't make it a secret thing, because it's what I'm living with. It's, like, my constant current reality. So I feel like it would be disingenuous to act like everything is okay while, like, behind the scenes I'm secretly, like, dying inside. Like, that's just not the kind of person that I am. For various reasons, but, like, can't pretend to have like the facade. It's also why I don't buy into like aesthetic culture and stuff like that. For like social media purposes. I love a good aesthetic, but not for social media. So I keep trying to wrap up this section, then I keep adding to it, but essentially what I'm trying to say is, let's move on. There's no good transition here, but I wanted to talk about my 5 favorite things from 2025, because I want to highlight the positive things that happened. I know that, like I said, I got sick, so there's a big negative cloud over a big chunk of my year. I was basically sick for about 6.5, 7 months, almost 8 months, if you count like the recovery time when I finally got like my diagnosis and medicated and sort of squared away. So a big chunk of my year just got eaten up by illness and recovery. And so like I wanted to, instead of being like, oh man, this year sucked because I got sick and it ruined everything in my life and womp womp womp, you know, like that. I wanted to point out the things that I thought were positive in the last year and the things that I'm like proud of that I did on my channel. And this is really in no particular order, except that it is in mostly, no, 100% chronological order now that I'm looking at my list, because I just went down my feed of videos and wrote down the 5 things that I was happiest with this year, the things that I liked the best. And there's really not like a lot of like significance or anything behind it. It just went, I like this, I like this, and I like this, and I'm proud of these things that I did. So off the top, Fanguary. I loved Fanguary. I thought it was so fun. It was the vampire theme challenge I did last February. I would like to do it again this year, but we'll see. Because I just announced it. I'm doing a big month-long challenge for January. I have another plan for something else in February, so that means like doing 2 things in February, and February should kind of be a little bit of a month off, but also I have plans for March too, so I gotta see. I would like to bring it back in some sort of capacity. I don't know how so. We'll see. Honestly, I'll tell you guys right now, it depends on how much I get done for January. If I can finish doing all of my videos by like the halfway point in January, then I will bring Fanguary back for a week. It's a little mini challenge. It won't be like a bunch of skin off my nose, but if I don't finish, you'll know because you won't see any announcement for Fanguary, and it'll just have to come back in 2027 instead. Or I'll have to find another Owari I can smush it into. Because I love vampire shit. And we're kind of having like a vampire renaissance right now with all the movies and stuff that are coming out, like Nosferatu and Sinners. I'm living my best life. There's a new Dracula movie coming out. I'm living my best life right now. I love vampire movies, and I'm glad that they're having a renaissance and we're not getting cruddy movies right now. They're coming out as quality movies again, because for a while they were bad. And so, yeah, I'm having a good time, and it would be a shame to not capitalize on the good time that I'm having with vampires. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I don't want to, like, put it out there that I'm definitely doing it yet, because I don't know. And also, who knows what kind of energy levels we're looking at by the time I get done with this challenge. Because this is going to be, like, the first time that I'm doing month after month. That's what I'm saying. What am I saying? There's a month in between. So I'm doing a month-long challenge, a month off, a month-long challenge, and theoretically it should be a month off and then another month-long challenge, because I'm going to do another month-long challenge. Slight spoilers for what's coming up here. So, if anything, I will do the one little mini challenge I have planned for February. If I have time, I will do the 2. But Fanguary is something I love. The response was great. You guys really enjoyed it. People did really cool creative things, and like chef's kiss. I loved it. It was so fun to do. I definitely want to bring it back. The second thing that I loved in 2025 was the Paper Doll Brawl, which is the collaboration that I'm doing with Lori, which will be coming back this coming up month. So in January, you will see another Paper Doll Brawl video. It's like a tit for tat challenge with Lori, where we swap prompts. Like I do a prompt plus her prompt, and then she does the prompt that I give her, plus a new prompt, and we just keep building on that, and it's so fun. It's such a great way to use up the paper dolls, but also, like, just a fun, creative, like, out-of-the-box thing, because I don't know what the next prompt is going to be or how she's going to take my prompt, and I'm building off of her previous prompt, and I just think it's a really fun, collaborative thing, and I want to bring that back so bad, because I have all her paper dolls that need to get little homes. And so, yeah, I absolutely love the paper doll brawl, and I'm really looking forward to bringing it back for the next year. It was probably one of my favorite things because I love stuff that challenges me creatively, and I really had to think outside of the box for some of the prompts because it wasn't just my brain coming up with the prompts. You know, I was sharing that in response to somebody else and their input too. So like that was just a really fun sort of thing. So I hope that you guys enjoyed it and that you will join in maybe next year and try out some of this stuff yourself, some of the prompts yourself, and then let me know what your results are. You know, that would be great. I think it's fun. Sorry, I'm picking the glue off my glue thing because I let it all dry on here, and now I know it's going to be in the way. The third thing that I really loved, and this was just sort of not a random pick, but a pick overall, because obviously you guys know that I do storycraft here on the channel, so I wanted to pick my favorite story from the last year that I told. I honestly surprised myself looking at the selections. I thought it was going to be hands down Rumpelstiltskin, because I love Rumpelstiltskin. Tatterhood was a good, like, close second. Even just the whole, like, legacy of Theseus and the Minotaur that I did on my little comeback tour, I figured was going to have, like, the whole... like my whole heart, because it was such a labor of love. But no, actually, the true labor of love was the one that took the most research, because most of the work that I did in Theseus and the Minotaur was just confirming what I already knew, because I'm really familiar with that story. But the ones that took the most research was the Bell Witch and Who Put Bella in the Witch Elm. Those were two different episodes. I put them together because one inspired the other, because I had the wrong sort of idea when somebody requested the Bell Witch. I thought that they meant Who Put Bella in the Witch Elm, and I was very confused when I went to go Google it and was like, this is not the thing that I know or am expecting to do. So like it put me on this other rabbit hole where I had to go do all this other research, which I love doing research, guys. When I say I have to do research, I'm not mad about it. But I had to go do a bunch of research to learn about the Bell House and the Bell Witch and everything that was going on there. And I loved it. I was really, like, excited. It was a really popular video. Everybody enjoyed it. I don't do a lot of, like, historical stories or, like, true crime things, which is the Bella and the Witch Elm one, because it takes a lot of research. It's a lot easier to learn a story and retell it to you guys than it is to... you know, go look up a history and learn all about it, or learn a local legend and share that with you guys. And I love doing it. It just takes more time, and that's the kind of stuff I like to reserve for, like, challenges, like the summer camp takeover where we did, like, cryptids and I had to go look up that stuff. I like to do that, like, in sort of challenges and stuff, because I have more time to sort of devote to it, so I can be more thorough with my research. But if it's in, like, storycraft, I don't usually have a lot of time to do a lot of research. So when I do the more, like, academic researchy type ones where I'm just sort of telling you guys, like, an event that occurred, I had time. That's essentially the difference between that and a story one, is if I have the time, I will do the research. But all that to say, I really loved the story. The stories were fascinating. They were completely different to tell, because I don't like doing true crime, because I don't know what happened. I used to be, like, a big true crime buff, and then I quit my super stressful job, and, like, once I recovered from the constant stress that I was under, I just was, like, completely turned off by true crime. Like, it doesn't appeal to me anymore. I don't want to hear it. I don't really enjoy it like I used to. I find myself being a lot more sensitive to, like, the cases that occurred, which I don't know, like, what that says. I'm not a therapist. You know, so, like, I can't really explain this phenomenon, but once I removed myself from a high-stress job that made me very unhappy, I was no longer interested in true crime. So, I don't like to do it very often because it's sad. It makes me sad, and I find myself to be very empathetic, which I guess, like, my biggest takeaway is probably just that, because I was so stressed out at that other job, I sort of lost touch with some of my empathy. And so when I was no longer stressed out and no longer angry all the time, I was able to be a more empathetic person, and sort of dwell in that feeling. And then it just sort of came through where I find true crime to be sort of a turn off. So I don't do it that often here, unless it's, like, in pursuit of ghost stories. which is kind of what we're working with Bella and the Witch Elm. So it wasn't so bad, but it was, you know, a whole different tone than we're used to for Storycraft. So Storycraft is usually a little bit tongue-in-cheek. I like to joke around and have a good time and just tell the stories in my style. So it was just like, it was a good thing to, one, learn the difference between the two things, tell a story that took a lot of research, learn something new, and, you know, tell something in a different style than I usually did for Storycraft. And I really enjoyed that experience, and it was just my favorite stories of the year. That's crooked. You know, so like, that was number three of my favorite things of 2025. Now, number 4, this is going to be a weird one for some of you guys. In fact, the majority of you guys, because this is something that's only on Patreon. So if you follow me as a free member on Patreon, you've probably seen it. If you're a paid member, you've obviously seen it, because I gave it away to a certain tier on Patreon. It's also available for sale on Patreon. So this is a bit of a self-promotion, but hear me out, okay, before you guys get, like, upset with me for being shameless. Go here. So I did a workshop, like a whole workshop, like a class that you can take on Patreon, and it's entirely about the 12 divine feminine archetypes, plus my pitch for one more. It has a mixed media thing, a journal binding, a collage sort of element to it. I did an art thing, and I did a workshop while doing the art thing, and sort of broke down the archetypes, how they could be used, all their aspects. It was really fun. It was a lot of work. It was the most work I've ever put forward to something. I'm absolutely interested in doing another one. I want to add more workshops to my Patreon. I want to see, too, about how to bring them over to Ko-fi, because I know some of you guys are a little bit wary on Patreon, but you're on it's Ko-fi, but Ko-fi. Which I also have linked down below. I don't talk about it that much, but I want to see how to bring workshops over there so you guys can purchase them there as well. But it was this massive undertaking. It was huge. All this editing, putting together every single part, and it's all broken down so that you can watch them all individually or all in one run. And yeah, just this massive workshop that I did, and I was so proud of it, super proud of this work. And it was literally the last thing I did, like the last major thing I did before I got sick. So for those of you who don't know, my cat Smokey, who used to be the supervisor of the channel, passed away last year, and it really hit me hard, and then it really put me into the, I want to put myself out there, I want to try something new. So I pushed myself to live a little, because, you know, Smokey was gone, and he was a big part of my life, and I wanted to take something positive from his passing and sort of transition into a new stage of life and share some of this witchy knowledge that I've accumulated with you guys. So that's why I was motivated to put this workshop together. And while doing that, I kind of knew that I was going to hit a wall energetically, but what I didn't know was that I was getting progressively sicker as time was going on. So by the time I finished, I put it together, I posted it, I was like, okay, I gotta take a break because I could feel myself getting tired. Turns out I was getting really sick, and it was the start of a very long battle with my chronic illness, which at that time was unspecified. I had no idea. We had some thoughts and theories about what was wrong with me, but there wasn't anything confirmed. So I went down really hard afterwards, but I didn't stop being proud of the work that I did, you know, and I kept being really excited for it. Some of you guys signed up just to take that workshop, and that was a big exciting thing for me, because, you know, you really like me, you know, that came through in one way, shape, or form. And yeah, that's where we'll do it. But what are we doing? Or do I need another one? Hold on, I have to think what my plan for this page is. Yeah, we'll do one here and here. That's 4 magnets, 1 page. I have a whole box of magnets. I'm gonna lose this magnet. F it. We're doing it. So, whatchamacallit. So yeah, I put this workshop together. I'm just really proud of it, and I wanted to promo it and get it out there and you know, do all the things, but I got so sick. I got so sick so fast that I just did not have the bones to get out there and do all the promotion that I needed to do. So like, for the most part, it didn't get seen by as many people as I would have liked it to be seen by. It's still up on my Patreon, you guys, I'm just saying. But, you know, it is something that I am really proud of. It was a lot of work. I consider it an accomplishment just in that regard. And like I said, I'm looking forward to doing another workshop. Now that I've done it one time, I have sort of a better concept of how much work it's going to take and can probably pace myself better, because I was like really crunching it in there, you know, like down to the wire, like I got to get this up, I got to get this done. And yeah, the burnout was so real for it. But like, this was a creative burnout that was just really worth it. And it wasn't like I'm burned out and don't have like the creative juice to keep going. It was just, I'm energetically burnt out. Like the amount of labor this took burned me out. Well, here's my question. If I put another one right here, will this stay mostly closed? But I don't want to do that because I want to do a thing. Unless I put it down here. I mean, I could. You know? Do you feel me? Let me think with my eyes and my hands. Yeah. You know what? No. We're gonna put it here. We're gonna commit to the bit. I don't know why I'm trying to make stuff harder for myself than it needs to be. Ooh, I know what we can do. Oh, I'm excited. I just thought of something. Okay. So, yeah, that was number 4 of the things that I loved about 2025, and very proud of myself for. So don't put this down yet. Okay, I need a scrap. Thankfully, I have them. In fact, this might be actually the perfect size. Let's see. Excuse me for a second. So the 5th thing that I was very proud of in 2025 should come as like a no-brainer. It's very obvious, it was Povember. I'm very proud of Povember. Povember is my baby. This is the 2nd year that I did it. It went really well. I really loved all the makes. I made a book, which is now in its new home, and I am like just happy as a clam over Povember. And it's, yeah, I'm doing it again next year. You guys do not have to worry if you didn't get to join this year. It is in fact coming back. And yeah, I just all around 10 out of 10 Povember would do again. And next year I will have a buddy along for the ride, so I'm excited for that. I don't want to spoil it just yet, but I feel like if you guys follow me at any capacity, you kind of already know. I probably have already slipped it up at some point or another too. So, you know, do with that what you will. But, yeah, there's not a lot I can say about Povember. It literally just happened in November, so it's still relatively recent in the sort of memory of my channel. It is just that month-long art challenge, because it is a broader challenge compared to some of my other challenges. I do like to leave Povember open because its origin is in the poetry challenge that I used to do for the month of November. I didn't actually need this. That's what just stopped me completely in my tracks. I did not actually need that. In fact, I don't even need all of this. Now that I've remembered what I'm actually making as I am talking, here's what we're going to do. We're going to save this for something else. I don't know. Don't ask me what. It's going back in the scrap bin. We're going to cut this down. If you were my knife, you would be... here, because I only need this. I did not need 4 inches. This will go back to the scraps. This will go here. This will go there. Bada bing, bada boom. We're back on track. So, those are the 5 things that I loved in 2025 that I feel very proud of. There are things that I look back fondly for the year, despite all of the chaos and all the things. There's a couple other things that I'm like happy about, but they're not in the top 5, so I guess they're honorable mentions, which is I'm gonna say it again. As you guys know, I got very sick, so I was missing for quite some time. But in that time, I managed to have like a creative reset. So I think like I don't feel like I was approaching creative burnout. More just like I was getting like stagnant creatively and wasn't really feeling like super interested, which I guess you could argue is creative burnout. But I was still making stuff that I liked. I just wasn't like hype about it, you know? Like I wasn't as excited or motivated to do stuff, and I was kind of like, oh man, do I want to keep making journals? Because I'm getting a little like not bored. You know, like when you're like nonchalant, you know, like I was like, there's another word for it, but I was like not caring that much about it. Like I was just sort of going through the motions, and not being as excited as I used to be for stuff. But like that's what was happening, where I was just kind of like, this is becoming very like methodical, and the spark that you had for it isn't there. But I wasn't like lacking ideas or inspiration. I was still having all of that. So I don't want to say it's like creative burnout, but it was some kind of burnout, I guess, on the themes of burnout. In the realm of burnout, it was definitely there. Where'd that magnet go? Oh, I see it. We're gonna make it a little guy. I went around this edge. Which I have to do in silence, apparently. But yeah, so like, so I got sick, and while I was sick, I sort of was like, I was only sort of making stuff for Patreon. I was keeping it really low energy because I had low energy. I had really bad fatigue. So like everything had to be like in moderation, and I couldn't like do too much because I would just be up in bed all day if I like overdid it. So it was really about like focusing on controlling my energy and stuff like that, creatively. And what I found was that, my arch nemesis, mini albums, because I've never really been into these. Honestly, I wasn't. The precision part of it like killed me because I was like, why is it gotta be so perfect? But I found that's too close. Was that they don't take that much energy from me. As much as like I think I put into journals. Journals have sort of become a different beast since I have started. But just come off for a second. But mini albums, as much as I enjoy them, I can be very creative with them. There's all sorts of stuff here. Like, there's lots of potential and content and all the things. But, that's smarter. But they didn't take, you know, the copious amounts of energy that I pour into journals to accomplish. So what was interesting about that for me was that I was able to sort of devote the time and energy into learning new techniques and stuff like that, and how to do the pockets and the pop-ups and stuff for mini albums, that I wasn't necessarily able to devote to that. But it was also something that I was like, well, this is a skill I can bring back too. You know, like I can take this back to junk journals. And that's kind of how I like to deal with like creative burnout, is by learning a new skill that I can rework into my art. So like, you know, the last time I had like really bad issues with burnout, I got really into making stuff with resin, which I then brought back into, you know, my creative practice. So that's always been like my pro tip for dealing with creative burnout is to learn something new. Just something, oh my gosh, something completely new. It doesn't necessarily have to be able to be like reintegrated back into your practice, you know, whatever creative forms that you prefer. But I think it's just really helpful to learn something that you can carry back with you, because then you don't feel like you're wasting your time. Because I think that's one of those things where people who are very creative with a certain like modality of art, when they're a certain thing in the art world that they're like, this is my thing and I'm very creative with this, they feel like they can't go learn something new because it's taking away from the original thing. But you absolutely can go learn something new and walk it back to your art, and at that point you're not taking away from your art or the thing that you're passionate about, because you're bringing, you know, you're enhancing your skills, you're bringing it back to that in the first place. So look, and then it'll flip this way. We'll have a pocket. Flip this way, and then we can unlock it. And then I'm gonna do a pop up here. So yeah, so all of this to say is that I discovered a love for mini albums while I was sick, and then have now brought that to the channel, and they've been very well received. I even did that for the Povember challenge. I made all of my prompts in a mini album, adding like a little bit of junk journal flair to it, but it was, you know, it was a big mini album that I did a junk journal kit for. It was also the first time I made a kit for a mini album that was like sized for mini albums, which was also exciting and fun to experiment with. And I'm looking forward to doing more of that, because I obviously have been enjoying it and continue to do so. What if my scraps are the right size? So that would be like an honorable mention, was the mini albums, but also just like coming back to the channel, because there was a little bit there where I was like convinced I was going to die. I'm not even being dramatic. Well, I mean, I'm always dramatic, but, like, I really thought, like, this is it. This is the end for you. Like, there's nothing beyond this point. So, what's 4 by 5 by half? 4.5 by 10. 4.5. That is the words I said. By 10. So, when I came back to the channel, like, I just really sort of appreciated the reception. I really appreciated, honestly, while I was out, the messages that I got from everybody who were like, hey, don't worry about it, like, we'll be here when you come back. Like, that was just really nice and sweet. And then, like, seeing the same people show up when I did come back to the channel who were like, hey, welcome back. And I was like, oh my god, like, all of that was just a very positive experience, because, like I said, I thought I was gonna die, and I wasn't really sure if I was gonna ever come back to YouTube in any way, shape, or form. And sorry, I'm trying to pet my cat. She's walking by in her rare moments. And I'm happy that I did, obviously. And, like, excited that I came back with, like, a newfound sense of creativity and a new passion. I did this in the wrong direction, because I wanted it to be tall, not wide. So, what do? This isn't even. Dang it. So the question is, do I keep it? Let me see. No. No, you do not, because it will not fit. So we try again. One moment. So, 5.5. I knew it looked funny, but I could not, like, place why. But it's okay. I anticipated making mistakes while talking to you guys. I want it to be 4 by 5. I should have added for the little gusset part, you know, the little extra bit of framing, but now it is what it is. One more time. So yeah, those were positive things from 2025 that I'm very excited to be able to hold on to. I'm very grateful for, honestly. Okay. And you know, I'm glad to be able to like document that in this space and be like, these are good things that happened in the year where everything went to shit and everything sucked and you know, you were having a very hard time the majority of the time. I'm very glad to be able to sort of look at this and be like, well, here are some good things that happened despite all of the like freaking shenanigans. And I was trying really hard not to say the F word. I don't know why, because I've already sworn a bunch of times, and I have since come to terms with the facts that I will never be YouTube advertiser friendly, because I can't stop myself, and I refuse to stop. Can't stop, won't stop, which is fine. I guess that's also something that I am leaving in 2025, which has been the sort of obsessive, frowny way that I have looked at my interactions with the YouTube algorithm and how unforgiving it is, because it just never seems to react in the way that people tell me it's going to react. You know, where people are like, if you do this, then it'll do that, and this is how you'll get more views on your channel, and if you do this, it'll do that, and this is how you'll get more views on your channel. And it's not even like I'm trying super hard to get a bunch of views. That's not my goal. My goal is to just sort of get my art out there and share things and stuff like that. But it's very discouraging to see, like, every year I have less and less interactions and views with my channel, even though I am putting out more content than I have ever put out on my channel. Not this year, obviously, because I was sick, but last year I put out like 3 times as much content as I've ever put out in a single year, and had little to no impact on my channel. In fact, may have made it worse. And then this year, of course, getting sick stopped all production on my channel. But then, according to all the algorithm experts that I speak to, my friends, you know, it was like, oh, well, when you do your comeback, it'll pop right back up. YouTube will recommend you again, and it'll do all the things. And it didn't. It did not, as a matter of fact. And I feel more suppressed than ever. And I don't know how to get out of, like, the YouTube dungeon prison algorithm, which is fine, because I'm not bringing that energy into the next year. I don't care anymore. That's not my focus for the next year. If people see my videos, great. If they don't, like, hopefully they do one day. I do get a lot of messages and stuff from people telling me that, like, they had no idea that I was on YouTube and just now discovered my channel after so many years. It's on older videos and stuff like that. And I'm like, cool. You know, that's great. I don't know how that happened and how to make it happen, but I'm glad that it happened, you know? Like, I'm glad that we finally found each other. This piece of foil is haunting me. So it's gotta go like so. And it will. But first, we back before I forget, because I will be so sad if I forget and then stick it down and then have to figure out how to back around it. So yeah, I'm not bringing that with me. I don't care anymore. I'm not gonna watch the numbers like that, like I used to. I honestly haven't done it that much this year, anyways, and found it to be a much happier space, where I wasn't like thinking about it and worrying about it. So yeah, I'm not doing it anymore. I will be letting it go. And that's basically the only thing I'm leaving behind in 2025, except for it'll be that, and then ignoring all of the signs from my body about my health concerns, because that's how I ended up being super sick instead of just a little sick. Was being like, no, what you're feeling could not possibly be a signal from your body that you need rest and that it's okay to take a break, and that you should also go to the doctor. So, like, if I have any advice that I can give you guys for your lives, if you are kind of built like me in any capacity, it's listen to what your body is telling you and go see the dang doctor. Because, like, frick, man. I wish I could, like, shake myself and be like, why? Because had I just gone earlier, like, I wouldn't have crashed so hard like I did last year. But I didn't. I kept putting it off and putting it off until I had no other choice but to go. And thankfully, I went and I got a diagnosis and got medicated and am on a recovery that is seemingly sustainable. I still have, like I said, that fear that, like, the bottom is going to drop and I'll be right back where I am. But that's anxiety talking, and, you know, like, it's not helpful. It's not doing me any favors to think that way, but I am also giving myself a little grace period to be like, all right, like, now that you've started to recover, it's okay to feel, like, fretful that the bottom's going to drop again and you're going to be right back in bed, not able to create and do the things that you like. But I'm also taking a lesson from the whole experience, which is to, of course, live life as opposed to just sort of letting it happen to me. So that's why I plan to do stuff next year. I'm making plans in advance, which I never do. I'm always like, no, I can't plan too early. Because what if I don't feel good? And I can't do that to myself anymore, you know? So I've taken a lot of lessons from this year that I'm moving into the next year with a sort of generally positive outlook. This is my favorite color combo from this entire paper pack. So I'm using it again because I love it. I don't know why, but something about this red and blue jean thing is, like, just brilliant. So I guess that's everything about, like, lessons and things. I knocked my camera at some point, sorry. And stuff from the past year, my favorite things, all the stuff, you know, like, all the stuff and things that I just said. That's what I just said. I don't know how to transition, clearly, into other things. But I wanted to talk about some of my, like, changes to the channel and things that you guys can look forward to for the next year and stuff like that. And sort of you can kind of understand, like, where I'm coming from and what's going on and what's happening with everything and all the stuff and things, you know what I mean? I said I wanted this to come down further than I normally do. I think that's good. Oh, it should be closer. Dang it, I do this every time, too. Okay, that's fine. Every time I do this pop-up, though, that's what I do. Is I put it too far, and then I have to figure out how to make it go back. So... that being said, all the things being said, the biggest change that I am making to the channel, and I know, you guys, I did this the last time that I was like, well, it's gonna end, and I'm wrapping it all up, and I'm not doing it anymore, and then you guys were like, no, please, don't, it's my favorite thing. Look, it's also my favorite thing. It's Storycraft, okay? I'm not ending Storycraft, so don't panic. I will continue to do Storycraft. I will not continue to do it in the same way that I have been doing it, which is in our regular, like, Wednesday schedule. Obviously, it has not been this way since I got sick. And then I did a challenge. When I do challenges, I don't do Storycraft because the challenge takes all my energies. But yeah. So that being said, going into the next year, because I want to sort of expand the content that I'm making and grow creatively, I will not be keeping Storycraft on such a tight schedule. Storycraft will come out when Storycraft comes out. I will continue to do Storycraft. Don't worry. There's a couple of big stories that I want to tell in, like, multi-parts. I think I want to do some bigger projects as Storycrafts so I can break it up into parts and you can see how the project unfolds, and then keep those, like, single bits of ephemera for sort of other things. Not to say I won't do, like, one-offs that are short stories and stuff like that too, but Storycraft is going to evolve. It has to evolve, it has to grow, because I have continued to evolve and grow, and the theme for my year is growth. So in order to experience that growth, I have to get a little uncomfortable. I have to sort of change things, but also I want to take the pressure of having to have a video up every single Wednesday on a certain time off of my back. I want it off my back, because that is my least favorite part of Storycraft. As much as I love Storycraft, having to stick to that schedule and being, like, constantly like, oh, well, you have to hurry, you have to make sure that you have a video out for this time, it sucks, okay? It sucks. I don't like it. I don't recommend it. This is a good size, but I don't know. Okay, we'll first pick a page before you try to start matching stuff. Ooh, hold on. Okay, all right. The question is, which one? Because because I think, like I said, this was 2x2. Yeah, this was 2x2. Yes. So that means we need 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. Well, that's 1 3/4 one way, and 2 the other way, which means it can be trimmed. And these are also 1 3/4. By 1 3/4. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna use those for sure. But they need a base. Okay, scraps galore. That's exciting. So what would look good with this blue? That's a given. That's a pretty good one. So yeah, to take some of the pressure off of I like this a lot. This might be a winner. Storycraft will be changing. It'll still come out. You'll still get stories, just not as, like, regimented on a regular basis as before. Which, in addition to the changes with Storycraft, will free me up to make other changes, which is specifically to my content, because what I want to focus on in the next year is, like, getting back to basics, more technique sharing, tutorials, stuff like that, and also on building community. That's, like, a big thing for me right now. I have a very big drive to build community and collaborate and do those sorts of things. And so not having to worry about my regular posting schedule with Storycraft in particular, just cut them all out, will, in fact, be beneficial, because I will have the time and energy to focus on sharing other types of content with you guys and doing other things that I feel a little bit more compelled to do, more motivated and called to do. So yeah, that's sort of my goals for the next year, is to work on building some more foundational stuff, because I know that there are people who are coming to my channel who are new, and because I've been doing this for so long, I don't really approach things from, like, the beginner perspective like I should. I approach things from the, if you have been crafting for a while, this will make sense to you. And yeah, I want to get out of that thought pattern and share more stuff that might be helpful. It might be a refresher. It might be brand new to you. Those are my sort of thought processes in regards to, like, how I want to look at content. I also want to look at, like, more short form content, because I cannot continue to pretend like YouTube does not demand a sacrifice of short form content, as much as I hate making short form content. I do not love it. It is not my favorite. So, in order to do so, I have to sort of free up my schedule and allow myself to be a bit more free. But I can also tell you guys, too, I am, like, a contrarian by nature. And so having to stick to, like, a regimented schedule is killing my soul. It's killing my vibe. I have too much ADHD for it. And I just sort of need to be more flexy. And that's what's happening. And in doing so, like I said, there's a bunch of collaborations and stuff I already have planned for the next year. I'm looking to plan more. I want to fill up my calendar with all sorts of fun things like that. But whatchamacallit, in order to do so, like, changes had to be made, and Storycraft sort of ended up on the chopping block, because it does take a lot more time, but not necessarily a lot more time, you know what I mean? But also because, although I just said I'm not staring at, like, the metrics on my channel that much, it just doesn't do as well as other videos do. So, like, the videos where I'm sharing stuff that I'm making while I'm making it, tutorials, those sorts of things do really well, and Storycraft just does not do that well. So, I don't want to cut it, because it is sort of like a big tentpole piece for my channel, and I love telling the stories and sharing those things with you guys, because that's stuff that I'm passionate about. So I'm definitely not going to get rid of what I'm passionate about. This is my channel. I want to keep sharing those things, but I want to share them in a more meaningful capacity without, like, the stress of a regimented schedule to worry about on top of everything else. and I think it'll just be better in the long run. For all of us, you'll get better quality stories because I'll have more time to sort of focus on that without having to worry about, like, okay, I gotta put a story out real quick, so throw something out there. You'll get better crafts for storycraft. But also, I think what I'm going to try to do, don't quote me on it, but I think this is what I'm going to try for the next year, because a lot of you guys ask for, like, explanations. I forgot that these need to be rounded. On, like, what I'm making and how I'm making it. For, ooh, I messed this one up. For, like, the stuff that I'm making in Storycraft, I think to make it a little bit more accessible and, maybe get more of it out there, maybe more eyes on Storycraft, is that I will put out the Storycraft video. If I do, like, a big multi-part thing, I will also put a collected one with, like, all the parts together, because that's just good editing, like, you know, stuff. But also, I might, don't quote me, because I have not, like, committed to this idea, but it is in my mind to do a version where I tell you what I'm making and how I'm making it. So, like, there'll be the voiceover for Storycraft with all the story part, and then I'll do another voiceover where I'm just like, and this is how I made this, and, you know, like, give you guys some insight into the creative process to help you out, because, like I said, I don't look at stuff, from the lens of somebody who might be new to this, and I need to. I think that's something that I just don't think about and forget, that some people don't have the same amount of experience that I do, and I want to make my channel more accessible to people. So I think that might help in that regard. So that's sort of my plan for the year, is to focus on sharing more stuff with you guys. I want to bring back Grunge School. I don't know what else to do for Grunge School, so I got to think of some things to do for that, because I do like that series. I just haven't really thought too much about it. Oh, I just realized that I could have just done this. Well, I like that, because I like the word. That's cute, but it's busy. I like the word. And it's a little busy, but not super busy. Also, it matches what's over here. That's a contender. And this is just cute. It also matches the blues. I think we'll do this one. And what I'm going to do is just trim it down a little bit and curse myself while I do it. Come on now. So, yeah. So that's kind of how the content on the channel is changing in the long run, and what I'm planning and what I'm thinking, and why I am making the decisions that I am making. It's specifically for those reasons, and to share more stuff with you guys and different things, because we're about growth, and in order to grow, you know, sometimes you gotta rip out what doesn't work, and sometimes you just have to transplant it and you know, give it a new life as something else in a different way, in a different pot. And that's what I'm kind of hoping to achieve here with Storycraft, is by putting it in a new fresh pot with some new soil and giving it a little space to breathe. It'll grow. How did that come out crooked? I don't understand. It doesn't matter. It's not that serious. So yeah, the other changes that are coming, and I know it's burying the lead here, at the back of this video, is I am updating my Patreon. So look forward to that. I will be announcing it here, so I'm not super worried about burying the lead, but I will be announcing it pretty soon, actually, that there's changes coming to my Patreon, because I have decided to add a digital kit tier. So I will be changing up how the tiers are structured. If you are currently on the $15 tier, do not leave that $15 tier, because you will get the digital kits like everybody else, which will also get the stuff from last year. So if you are watching this video before I've made all the changes to Patreon, before I do that announcement, and you want to join, and you've been thinking about joining, join now at the $15 tier, because you'll get more stuff. Because what I'm going to do is change the $15 tier going forward to be the digital kit tier. So the only difference will be the previous tier will get an extra video, essentially. They'll get an extra video out of the deal, as opposed to the new one going forward will get the digital kit and a video using the kit, but they won't get the additional video that comes with that tier. So that's the major difference. But if you would like to get both videos, sign up for that. I'm also gonna launch my YouTube memberships, because I know some people, like I said, are a little bit wary about going off platform to join something else. So I'm gonna do that, and I'll just do like a $5 general tier and do a special video for them there, and then they'll get like early videos and sneak peeks and stuff like that, which will be the same stuff that you'll get on the $5 tier on Patreon, except on Patreon you'll also get a digital with it, because I don't know how to do digitals on YouTube memberships. I looked. I couldn't see it. So that's the only difference between the YouTube membership and the Patreon one. And then I'm going to try to make it a point to put stuff on my Ko-fi page, because people follow me there. I keep getting notifications of new followers, and I don't have anything up there. Like, I have nothing, barely, up there. So I'm going to try to work on focusing on that too. But yeah, I'm going to change some of the tiers on Patreon, restructure them a bit, and sort of condense a little bit of my thoughts and feelings about what's going on there. I love this. This came out great. So we have our pop-up, and we have a little flip, and then we just got a back piece. So yeah, great job. Oh, that's an idea. Okay, not opposed to that either. Yeah, so I'm going to do a little restructuring. I'll talk about it more in the video when I announce the changes on my Patreon. But if you are wanting to get it all, essentially, that I am offering there, jump over now. If you want to wait, feel free to wait. It's up to you guys. There's really no pressure. If you have been thinking about it, though, now would be the time. If you have not been thinking about it, wait till I announce the changes and then see what's up and see how you feel about it. That's going to be it there. But I am going to make digital kits there. I'm going to post them up on my Patreon, so they'll be available there. And then I think I'll try to post the kits also for sale on Ko-fi. I don't know how the digital rewards things works on Ko-fi, so I got to figure that out. But like for individual purchase for the kits, I think I'll post them there on Ko-fi. I'm trying to avoid giving Etsy fee money, is essentially what's happened. Because I'm tired of feeding that beast, and it's just discouraging to sort of deal with. I think this will work. That's 7 inches by 5 inches. Okay, so that'll work for the back. So we'll cut this to 6. Sorry, I have scraps I'm also trying to use up while I'm looking here. That's ugly. So random. Oh, that works. What am I saying? So, yeah. There's some things that are changing. I will announce when they change and like what that means for the channel and for everybody involved. I have to figure out how big that pocket is. The pocket is 4 inches, is that right? No, it's 3 3/4 inches. So I need 3.5. And my cat is playing in the dead leaves on my houseplant, so that's what you guys hear in the background. Is this 6 inches though? No. So much for that idea. Okay, we might be playing the perfect scrap game, and I don't have the desire to, so I'm going to cut this down to 6. We're just going to cut a new scrap. Something that matches them. Blah, 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 blah. I guess that's basically everything I have to say. About all the stuff coming up. I don't want to spoil stuff. We'll do this one. Ooh. No, it's too many patterns. Stop it. I forgot that these were perforated. I don't know if I love the perforation, but I forgot they were perforated. See, yeah, I don't feel confident in my tearing. I hope that, like, at least, like, this was a good way to touch base. What did I say? I said 3.5. And that you guys enjoyed it. I hope you're also looking forward to the next year and what it holds. At least semi as much as I am. And if you are feeling hopeless, let me know in the comments, and I will also aggressively throw some hope your way, because I feel like that is the only way to hold on to this hope, is by being the Lulu and also aggressive about it. I want to be hopeful, damn it, and I insist on everybody else being hopeful, because I feel like if we lose hope is when, you know, like, all the bad vibes and the darkness and the things creep in, you know? Where is the paper pad? Weren't you guys looking at it like I was looking at it? And then it just... It's not... Oh, I see it. It was super hiding. You know, like, I feel like it's the only way that we can sort of chase the like, weird sense of dread and paralysis that comes with all the negative stuff that's happening constantly, that we're being exposed to constantly. Like, the only way to get rid of that vibe is to be aggressively hopeful, and not just like regular hopeful. I mean, like, I'm gonna be so hopeful that I might end up in like a pretty white jacket in a white padded room, because I want to be hopeful, damn it. I want to be positive about things, and I want good things to happen, not just for myself, but for everybody else, for all of you guys watching here on the channel. I cannot tell you guys how much, like, your support has meant to me. If you have ever thought, like, I don't know if I'm making an impact, you absolutely have, especially, like, by reaching out here to me on this channel. And again, like, a big shout out to the people who kept me going while I was sick, and who reached out to check in on me, because, like, you guys were the real MVPs. I really didn't know what the future was going to hold, or if it was even going to be possible to come back. I didn't know that people wanted me to, so, like, having the support and appreciate, like, I appreciate you guys for all that support and for the reaching out and stuff like that and checking on me during that time, because it was a particularly dark time, and I'm still recovering from it, like, emotionally, obviously, because I keep talking about it. Also physically, because I am on the upswing of it, but I am not out of the fray necessarily yet. But I'm feeling so much better, and with that better feeling has come delusional optimism. And I'm gonna hold on to it, because that's what I said I'm gonna do, damn it. Like, I'm just insistent on it. But also, you know, like, struggling. Mindset matters. It matters a lot. And I think having a optimistic but also realistic mindset is going to be the way going forward. This is a very tight pocket. Oh, because it's glued. Well, that makes sense now. Okay. And I'm just looking forward to having a happy, healthy, creative 2026. I will see you guys all very soon, in fact, because we're starting Moz and the Scratic on the 1st. And this video is going up on the 31st. So I will see you guys back here tomorrow. I don't know what else to say. I appreciate your faces. I really do. Thanks for making this a wonderful year, and I look forward to the stuff that we're going to make in the next year. And until next time, you guys, happy crafting. I appreciate your faces. Take care of yourselves. Definitely take care of yourselves. Go to the dang doctor. And until next time, happy crafting, guys. Bye.